Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the session. I'm from West Cocalico Township, which is in northern Lancaster County. It's a fairly rural area, and it's a small township as far as employees. We have two full-timers and a part-timer in the office and four road crew. So we all have to kind of be MS4, kind of sharing the duties together. We decided to go with an electronic mapping program after being encouraged by our engineer that it might be a good thing and getting some recommendations. We went with CS Datum. Uh, there were some whoops, I'm going too fast. There were some challenges. My average age of my road crew was over 50, and tech is challenging at best. Give them a broken machine or a pipe that needs to be replaced, and they're wonderful. Give them a computer, and they're not so happy. So when we got into electronic mapping, we upgraded one of the phones to a smartphone, and we got some tablets to be able to help them work with the program in the field. We had Jordan from CS Datum come in and do some training, and I thought, okay, we're off and running. Um, the program that CS Datum has allows us to map stormwater facilities, the pipes, the inlets, the outfalls, the BMPs, even allows us to mark the direction of the flow. It also allows us to record water quality testing results at the various locations. We can put in information about bridges and the infrastructure quality. We can rate them, and we can record information about various properties that we have, about utilities such as our water system or our sewer system. And we can also put in, recreational trails and mark where they go and various points. And as you're working with it, you can upload other information. So you can take pictures and put them on there. You can also record any repairs that you made or any observations in the comments. The outfalls, it actually has an inspection report that's embedded in the program, so you can do the inspection right on the surface that you're using, which should be easy. But again, I was dealing with people who are not tech savvy. So we had the training, and it happened in the spring, which of course is getting into their busy time. So they didn't get to it. And when fall came, I said, well, we really need to start getting the outfalls listed and, get our pipes and inlets in. And he's like, yeah, it's slow. We'll get that. Well, it didn't happen. And then we went through another cycle of a year. And again, they were just that busy. So last year, we hired a local teenager. And let me tell you, teenagers are, they're all about the surfaces. And we hired him initially to paint our hydrants, but then he had extra time. And I said, give him the tablet, show him what you know, see if he can figure it out. Well, he was fantastic. He was able to go around and he was able to enter a lot of our information, which you have to have it in to get started. I highly recommend finding some young teenager, because he thought this was fabulous, that he was outside and putting all this stuff in and getting paid to do it. And my road crew heaved a huge sigh of relief. So we got into what was in the program, and the items were there, but my guys were still not using it. So one day the teenager happened to be there, and they were talking about some repairs they needed to make on the pipe, and they were talking about how it was going to work. And he was like, I think you have that wrong. I think it flows the other way. And he pulled up the program for them and said, see, the arrows go the other way. And a light bulb clicked for my roadmaster. We finally had a moment where he was like, oh, this could actually help me. So I'm going to switch over to the program and show you some of the things that you can see in there. And it'll take a minute. It logged me out. So ours always comes up showing the sanitary system. And you have different layers that you can show. So I'm going into the stormwater system and I'm pulling that up. Now this isn't the whole township, it's just a portion of it, but you can see how he has the arrows marking the way things are
Carolyn,
flowing.
we can't
What?
see your screen. Sorry to interrupt. This is Kelly. We can't
Okay.
see your screen, so you have to do the
Let
share
me-
process.
Okay.
Adriana can help with that if you need it.
All right. Is that better?
Yes, we see it now. Thanks.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No
All
worries.
right.
Thank
So
you.
you can, as I was saying, you can see on here, he's put arrows in to show the direction of the flow. He has inlets in here. He has manholes in here. He has outfalls in here. And as you get closer, like for example, here's an outfall and we have them numbered. And if I click on that and then click on it in the box, I can pull up all kinds of information about this. So it'll show me, the identification and where it's at. I can look at the land uses that are draining to there, whether it's an MS4 outfall, whoops. And it'll show, that we have 2 inspections that were put in. I can actually start another one if I want, just by clicking on this and clicking the template. And then it allows me to just click through the various menus as I'm going through, and I can enter the information directly on here, as well as any photos that we might want to put in, which my roadmaster is now like, oh, this would be a huge help. Oh, now I saved one. It also allows you to add extra pictures now. I told him, I said, we were trying to download the pictures that we had from our little, he had put them on SD cards and we were struggling with it. So I asked, and I'm sorry about this, I broke my right hand and I'm running the mouse with my left is interesting. Anyway, he went out and grabbed this picture for me and came back and said, oh, that was really easy. What I've realized is, we didn't have information in to start, and not having the information in meant that when they had the training, it helped for them to know what to do, but then, they didn't have anything in. So then now that we have information in, it's actually easier for them to use. So we're going to have a training again that we're actually scheduling in the next couple weeks for the guys to be able to look at it now that information's in, because I think, they have more questions they can ask because they've actually touched it and used it, but also we have information that they can actually work with. Now, one of the things, it does cost $2,400 a year, and my supervisors are liking to make sure they get some bang for their buck. So, the nice thing about this was that I was able to tell them, it's also going to work. We do have a water and sewer authority, so they can map that. And we can also put in roads and bridges. And so it has more value to it than just the stormwater. So if you also have a board that doesn't want to spend the money, it gives you a little bit of a reason or more reasons to put in. One of the things that we haven't started, but we would like to, is it has the opportunity to do some Bmp management, which would tie into some of the asset management that was spoken about earlier. And you can upload the plans onto this and have them available to be looked at even while you're in the field. You can take pictures of it as you're doing your inspections so that you have that pictorial record, and you can be making comments about what needs to be done. When you do repairs, you can take pictures of the repairs and upload them in here as well and record the date and time. And one of the things that my guys like, my roadmaster is probably going to retire in the next 5 years, and I'm going to lose a lot of the history that he's provided for us. And so we're going to be starting to put in, what pipes are made of, what the size is, where we can figure it out, and put in the dates that he knows when they were repaired, so that we can carry some of that information forward, so that, future roadmasters are also going to know that, which I think will be a benefit to us as well. So it helps with the stormwater, but it provides a lot of other benefits too. Now I can zoom in a little bit, and you can see even more of the individual items that are in here and the locations, and you can get information about, the various areas if you want to. Let me go back. All right, so here's my teenager. Open that, put up the same. Here I was just showing, this is most of West Cocalico, and even though we're a rural area, we have a fairly extensive MS4 area. At least it's not the whole thing. So that was what that slide was for. And then I had some key takeaways. Have patience. Rome wasn't built in a day. Find your tech person, whether it's one of your road crew or whether you need to hire a student like I did, maybe hire a college student or, a high school junior or senior, and get the information in and plan on multiple trainings. So I don't know if anybody else has anything to share from their experiences who were in the group.
Carolyn, we have some questions. Are you ready to take those now?
Sure.
Okay, great. One question from Kira. Do you have an iPad for all of your public works staff?
We do not at this point. We have 3 tablets and a laptop and 2 smartphones. The smartphones are tough because they're a little bit small. So I do believe we're going to be getting more tablets because it's nice for them when they're out there to be putting things in. One of the things that I didn't mention is we actually have our sign inventory on here as well. And so if they go out and a sign's run over, they take a picture of the sign and then they take a picture of the new sign and put in the date that it was replaced. So if everybody has one in a vehicle, it would be helpful.
Okay, great. Another question is, how seamless was transferring field data to the CS Datum program?
It's easy if you're like doing it directly from the field, like if you're taking your picture in the field or if you're entering right directly into the inspection report. Now I went back and looked at the inspection reports and we did use the PADEP one. So it followed really easily along. So it didn't take too much to put that in. So it's helpful, but you really have to have all the locations in to get started.
Okay, great. And some questions are coming in, so that's good. I just lost it. There were a few more. I just saw them. Unless they're we get messages that pop up for other sessions too. So are there any other questions for Carolyn? Or do folks want to share? I think, Carolyn, you'd posed a question to the group of, do they have experiences with their own mapping program? Oh, here we go. Are you going to look for more teenagers to continue the mapping?
Funny you should ask. Fortunately, the teenager we had last year has already told us he would like to come back this year, and he worked for us over Christmas break and put some more in. And yeah, we're going to continue to keep using them. They're not afraid to try things in there, whereas it seems like people who aren't familiar with it, they're afraid they're going to break it. So it's nice to have somebody who's not scared of it.
I personally love that aspect of it. Okay, so let's see. We have some questions, follow up. First of all, how did you choose this particular tool, the CS Datum, and were there other tools that you looked at?
We didn't look at too many. I had been to PSATs and he had done a presentation and I liked what I saw. And then I talked to my engineer, and he had actually worked with it with some of the other municipalities and said it really was as good as they had presented it to be. And so we did go with that. It is $2,400 a year, but it is unlimited users. So if I'm on and I have all my road crew on, that's okay. And, we can be on whatever surfaces we need to be. And the storage is unlimited, which is nice because, those plans that you're uploading, they take up a lot of space. And I wouldn't want to have to be worried about, well, maybe I shouldn't put on my signs because I need it for, the stormwater, and I don't have to worry about that. I can just put on whatever I need to.
Okay, fantastic. And the next question is, do you pay your teenagers? And if so, are you paying them minimum wage?
We do pay him. We paid him $10 an hour last year. We're going to pay him more now because around here you can get a starting or an entry level position at Target for $15, and I don't want Target to steal him away.
That's such awesome experience for a student.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Carolyn? Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Do you use this system to map the watershed, the MS4 watershed, and calculate pollutant loads?
No. Our engineers had mapped it and they calculate the pollutant loads for us. We have it on there, but I wouldn't know how to calculate the load. So I let them take care of that. And for people who are looking for your teenagers, if you don't know of one, you might want to contact your school district and see if there's somebody who maybe was an FBLA member that they could recommend, because generally those people would have, the computer expertise that you're looking for.
I was also thinking, Carolyn, I know in our school district, we have an environmental science class and club.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it could even be a class project where,
Yeah.
you team up with your environmental science teacher to do field work. That would be a great opportunity as well.
It would, and probably the school district would really enjoy that.
Any other mapping questions? I have one for you, Carolyn. So you're using your map, I'm assuming, for your IDDE program and other aspects of your overall MS4 program. Are you using the map to help prioritize where you do screenings? And are you also using the map to log where you have potential, illicit discharge problems over time?
Yes. So, as you saw when you saw the outfall section, we can put all kinds of notes in there. And then you can actually take that information. You can go into the tables and it will show you you can create a table so it can list things it can search for stuff and find it for you. So I can create a list of, say, MS4 outfalls that haven't been inspected or MS4 outfalls that had illicit discharges so that I can go back and look at them. So yeah, we would definitely be using it to put that information in.
Let's see, somebody commented that their local school district had an externship program for graduating seniors, and they used multiple interns to desktop map their MS4 in CS Datum. So it sounds like you all are onto something with tapping into your local students, which is fantastic. As a former school board member, I think it's great. Any other questions about the e-mapping experience? Oh, we have one that came in. Can the program generate reports to help with your good housekeeping requirements?
It can generate what they call tables. So Jordan was very careful when I asked him about the reports. He said, well, it's not a report. So if you think about a report that an engineer would give you with all the text and the data and stuff, you're not going to get all that, but you will get the data. So you can pull that out and then, you could add to it to create a report if you wanted to.
Okay. Oh, let's see, we have another comment from Kara, her experience that you can upload PDFs and documents into the program as a permanent record. So it seems like there are other folks using CS Datum. If you're in this in this group and you're using this, I'd be curious to know give a thumbs up in the chat if you're also using CS Datum. Okay, it looks like Wes Hempfield uses it and loves it. I mean, this might be a good opportunity for folks who are using it. We have some other people. I mean, do you want to talk about any like challenges that you've had with CS Datum? And we have somebody else who says they're using Esri ArcGIS. I mean, this might be a good opportunity to kind of exchange information about how you're using this particular tool or challenges you've had with it. Do you want to pose a question, Carolyn, to the group about anything that you guys have been facing challenge-wise? See if you can challenge your CS Datum users.
Well, I think, for us, my biggest challenge has been the tech question, and we finally, we're still figuring all of this out. So, we finally have the tech question answered, and we're getting into it and getting, stuff recorded. But I'd be really curious to hear, what some of the other people have had, because I feel like, we're more in the early stages of getting through this, and maybe some other people who have more dedicated storm people might be further along with the mapping than we are.
So in terms of harnessing the power of the tool, figuring out what they're using it for?
Yeah, that's been our biggest challenge. What's the best way to use it? What can we do with it? Which is why we're having another training to try to figure it out.
So if you're using CS Datum and you're using it in a cool way that Carolyn should know about and other folks are using it, raise your hand in the chat or give me a thumbs up, and then maybe unmute yourself and kind of share what you're doing with it. People are being shy now that I've said they can unmute themselves.
Well, this is Jay here. Carolyn and I work a lot together. We're in the same watershed, and actually Ephrata built their own program. We had a consultant that worked with water and sewer, and then this MS4 thing came out. So we thought, oh, let's put that on. So it is work. It takes a lot of time, and I'm over 60, so I'm all thumbs with this. But yeah, I go out and take pictures, bring them back, download them off the camera, and put them into our database, which CS Datum is awesome. We use it for our signs, but it wasn't around when we developed our MS4 mapping.
Great, thanks for sharing, Jay. So there's another question that's come in, Carolyn and other CS Datum users. Can CS Datum use any GIS data?
Kara might be able to answer that better. I'm pretty sure, because I know that they took the mapping that they had provided as well as the mapping that our authority engineers had provided, and they were able to pull it up and put it into the program. The problem was that it wasn't quite exactly where it was supposed to be. So I know when our teenager was walking around, he would just have to pull them over to get them pinpointed exactly, but they were close.
Yeah, my name is Jessica, and I used to work for Spring-Sperry Township. And after that, I actually went to CS Davidson when I left the township. But the answer is yes, you can upload anything you want from a shapefile standpoint into CS Datum. And really it sounds like what Carolyn experienced would be maybe the kind of % error that you get using a cell phone or something else locating GPS. And sometimes your, I can't know, the datum you're using can impact the location. But we typically will work with all of our clients to fix those things.
Great, thank you for sharing. Hey, I have a question, Carolyn. How long did it take your tech-savvy teenager to, complete this task? Was it one summer's worth and that was it? Multiple weeks? How many days a week was he working?
He didn't stay at this all the time. And obviously we hired him to paint fire hydrants, so he did that. And then when the weather wasn't quite right, he did some of this, and we'd pull him into other projects. So, but over the summer, he got the stormwater in, and he was able to move the points for the sewer and water because those had been uploaded. And he started getting our sign inventory in. He was getting some of our road inventory in. So he got most of it done. And I would say half the summer.
And you provided him training as well. Did he have to get specific training from the folks at CS Davidson, or were you able to train him?
Well, my roadmaster, who, like I said, he's not the best with tech. He handed him the program. He showed him how to get in. He said, and he was able to show him how to find a point. And he said, figure it out. And he gave him, a phone number to call if he needed help. I don't even know that he needed to call. He just went off with it and figured it out. I will say it's a fairly user-friendly program.
That's just a really cool lesson learned and approach, I think. Anyone else have any other questions, follow-up questions for Carolyn or for the CS Datum staff who are clearly on and able to answer tech questions while we're here? Let's see, somebody just made a comment that he uses ArcGIS and CS Datum, and CS Datum is easier. And then ARC can do more technical stuff, but beyond most of our needs. So, well, if no one has any other questions for Carolyn, let's see, our next session begins at, let me take a look. We don't begin until 10 o'clock with BMP case studies. And so I don't want to keep folks here, but I do want to thank Carolyn for her time and sharing her excellent presentation and giving us all some great insights on how to get this type of work done using folks within the community and not just staff within the township, which, again, as I said, I think it's really great to get our students locally hands-on experience that will be great resume builders and maybe pull them into this line of work in the future, our future stormwater managers. I think that's wonderful. So let's give Carolyn a virtual round of applause for her time today. Thanks so much.